Welcome to this video, viewers. This is Clash of Beast Quest episode 10, Epos the Flamebird versus Ronak the Toxic Terror. Let's get into the fight. Epos bent down and water from a lake crashed into Epos's face. Another wave came and Epos backed away as Ronak lumbered from the water with a rumbling bellow. Epos let out an ear-splitting screech as Ronak reared up, blotting out the moon. Epos swung her talons forward, trying to uppercut Ronak's right horn, and the blow landed, but they just bounced off. Ronak took his chance as the pain jolted up her arm, up Epos's talons from the blow, and slashed his horns across Epos's chest. Epos screeched with pain as blood started to drip. Epos formed a fireball in her talons, but since she was splashed with water, it just turned into a ball of black stone. She still threw it at Ronak. It hit Ronak in the jaw and threw him backwards onto his back. Ronak stumbled upwards and stamped in the mud, bellowing and shaking his head from side to side. Epos did hers back, beating her wings, throwing out her chest and screeching into the sky. When all the roars and screeches died down, Epos leapt up and swooped towards Ronak. The Toxic Terror stamped down. The Toxic Terror stamped in the mud, spraying it up into the air. Epos hit the mud mid-air, splattering it all over her. Epos still continued to swoop and Ronak turned and ran. Epos swung her talons forward, grabbing Ronak by the neck and wringing his life out. He used one of his clawed hooves and slashed at Epos's talon. It put a gash went from here on Epos's talon all the way down to here, and the acid on his hooves dripped into the wound. Epos screeched with pain and let go of Ronak. Ronak turned and ran again, pounding over the plains, churning up mud with his hooves. Epos kept swooping, and her speed took her alongside Ronak. She hit her head into Ronak's hips just to knock him off course. What worked? Epos quickly turned and drove her beak down into Ronak's back. Gore sprayed up into the air for a split second, and Epos still clung on as Ronak let out a loud, rumbling bellow of pain. Epos formed another fireball, what she knew would turn into like a blackened stone, and slammed it into Ronak's hips. Just kept slamming it into Ronak's hips, gore spraying up. Ronak screamed with fear and tossed his horns from side to side, and then his entire body writhed, hooves slashing, rearing up, goring Epos with his horns. Epos was forced to let go, and Ronak turned to face her, his eyes glittering with malice. Epos backed away before swooping back in towards Ronak. Ronak charged towards Epos, and it was giant ram versus phoenix about to collide in a gory collision, and then Ronak tipped to the side and Epos swooped past, and as she swooped past, Ronak dragged his claws down her tail feathers, and Epos tipped over in her flight. Epos rolled across the ground and staggered upright before screeching with rage. Ronak was just exhausted by dealing with Epos, and he knew that the fight had only just begun. Epos swooped again and swung her talons out towards Ronak, but this time he swung them out. She tipped her head downwards, did a front flip and swung them downwards, raking them over Ronak's back, just tearing up the flesh. Ronak let out another rumbling bellow of pain and tossed his horns from side to side, hitting Epos's talons and twisting, trying to take all the claws off of her talons. It worked with one of her claws, but all the other ones, his horns just got stuck. Epos let out a loud screech and decided that to turn the land into Ronak's disadvantage because it was on the plains. She flew up into the air and just started throwing as many thousands of fireballs that have been extinguished because he's got mud and water all over her, across the plains, ripping up the grass, turning the entire land into a dystopia. Ronak realised that he was in a disadvantage, and then Epos swooped down, ready to deliver the final blow, ready to impale her talons through Ronak's lungs, rip them out, squeeze them into a mush and eat them. But then Ronak ran as quick as he could for the lake. Epos was gaining on him. He ran even quicker. Epos's talons came down and Ronak ducked beneath them, twisting to slash his claws, and hit Epos in the shoulder. Epos screeched as another wound was put in her shoulder, and acid dripped into the wound. As Epos came back up ready, Epos went back up into the sky and then swooped down again for another attack. Ronak kept thundering on towards the lake, and splash, his first hooves went into it. He realised that it had dried up all the acid on his clawed hooves, but he decided that if he had a chance to win, it would be in the lake. Epos couldn't stop swooping and splashed into the lake and landed right next to Ronak. Ronak brought his clawed hooves down on Epos's back and dunked her under the water. Epos writhed, but her movements were slower now it was underwater, but she still got a powerful double uppercut with her claws, with her talons, scraping them across Ronak's stomach. Ronak screeched, roared with pain, and he decided that he'd have to let Epos go. Otherwise, she would keep doing that until it took out all of his major organs. What he did not want. Epos came back out. Epos came out of the lake, but Ronak wasn't expecting her to swing forwards and grab his chest with her talons. Epos stared into Ronak's petrified eyes before squeezing until she crushed Ronak's stomach, not chest. Oh my goodness! All of the organs in Ronak's stomach were mushed together before spraying out across the dystopia and rolling back into the lake. Ronak's eyes closed and he slowly sank under the water, defeated. Okay, so Epos has won. And Ronak has lost. If you think Ronak should have won, then tell me why in the comments. But I gave Epos the win because out of every good beast in Avantia, Gwildor and Tangala, Epos is probably the most powerful. Well, apart from Chiron, apart from Chiron and Technos, because the golden armour does nothing to Technos. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye ya, you ya.